Los Angeles, Paul Rudd, Kim Vale, Chris Novoselic. Like, you've been around with so many of these great artists over this last little while. What was it like for you being up here with Al? Because I know that you're an open, emotional guy.
Yes.
Just looking at him is going to bring up feelings. What was this like for you?
Oh my God, it was so hard to remember there are people here. Honestly, because him and I are like this all the time and have been since we were 13 years old. So I often say that when people invite us to dinner with our spouses or whatever, be careful because we're going to alienate everyone else and the two of us are just going to go at it. So it was great to have him here. I think you guys enjoyed him.
Yeah. We have a lot of questions that we want to get to from people in the audience. As you know, if you're in the room, we'll call you out. Hopefully you'll stand up so we can see you. First one here is Ryan Batt, Newmarket, Ontario. Ryan, you here?
Where is he?
Ryan.
Stand up.
Stand up, Ryan. Oh, you're up there.
There. Hey,
there you are.
I see you.
Lifelong fan. Probably never would have even thought about picking up a pair of sticks if it wasn't for Rush, so thank you. Geddy, as a fellow musician who's been playing in bands for over 10 years from now, what is the secret to keeping a band together past the honeymoon phase? I really like this next part here, man. I love the guys I play with in my band now. I just want to make sure we stay together as long as possible.
Dementia.
Well, that's a trick. That's not as easy as it sounds. I think a few things you have to have respect for is, their opinions, even if you disagree, and make sure that when you do disagree, that it's not about something meaningless or petty. I think that's what breaks up a lot of bands. I used to hear stories about friends of ours that were arguing about songwriting credits. Now, okay, that's not petty, that's money, but one thing in Rush we never let get between us was money. We never, and in fact, thank you. In fact, we made a decision right around the time of, I think, Farewell to Kings, that after hearing one of those stories of a band, like well-known band, arguing about what was going to go on the B-side, we just kind of looked at each other and said, shall we just split everything three-way and not talk about this fucking thing ever again? And I said, yeah, and that's it. And we never talked about it again. Yeah. So that's my advice to you, is make sure that whatever does come between you is important enough to really argue about.
Hello.
One of the things that really connected to it, a highlight in my Effin life, was you found out many years later how Alex felt about a recording session.
Yeah. Well, a funny thing happened on the way to finishing this book. I had some questions for my good pal, and so I invited him over to my home and I interviewed him. And that was really revealing. One of the things I interviewed him about was in 1968 when I got kicked out of Rush for a short time, yes. I say a short time because they asked me back after they had two very unsuccessful gigs, which I was quite pleased about. Anyway, the other thing which you're referring to is when I was in my intense keyboard phase. And we were recording in England, and we were doing Power Windows, and then I think it was whatever came after Power Windows.
Whoa!
And we had brought in a keyboard player named Andy Richards. Now he's a brilliant keyboard player who did all of Trevor Horn's keyboard work, and it was a really hot time for that kind of keyboard work. And I was learning so much. And poor Al was up in his room at this residential studio trying to figure out guitar parts that would fit in and around these massive banks of keyboards that we were putting on all these tracks. And there was a couple of incidents he mentioned to me where I was acting like an ass, frankly. And I had put him in a corner, and I was shocked to hear that, and happy that it hadn't, as this young man suggested, happy that he hadn't made it into a bigger thing. And we, of course, got past it and eventually I started paying much more attention to what he had to say. But he's quiet on some of those issues. Like when I asked him, Al, when I got kicked out of the band, what did you do about it? What was your opinion? And he kind of looked to the ground and said, Geddy's the kind of guy who just went with the flow. And, so of course, he blamed the other guy.
Graham Clark, are you here? Ajax? Yo, there he is up there. Geddy, you have met Graham before, mid to late 1980s at Henry's camera around the corner. He sold you a Polaroid Spectra, apparently.
Thank you, man.
Graham's also a bass player. He wanted to know how your interest in photography developed, and if we're likely to see a book or an exhibition of Geddy's images in the future.
Ooh. Well, you flatter me, sir.
Right on.
I was starting to get obsessed with birding. It's a suitably nerdy hobby that I undertook a number of years ago. And I would take a camera with me and try to shoot a picture of the bird so I could recognize it better when I got home later, because the kind of photography I'm interested in, and for bird watching purposes, I do that while my wife and I are hiking, and I'm not one of those guys that wants to set up a tripod, put bird seed out, and wait all day for the birds to come to them. I'm kind of more of a guerrilla photographer. But anyway, I was a birder, and then when I started taking these photographs, I was getting frustrated at their poor quality. And so I started getting more serious about the photography thing, and then I got obsessed with getting the great bird shot, of course, and now that I think about that quite a lot. So one day maybe I will do something, maybe for the World Wildlife Fund or something, that we can raise some money for and put some of my amateur photos. Thank you for your question.
Great. I remember you saying that one of the things you love about birds, it's kind of the only free creature you'll see on this planet.
Yeah, I mean they're out there, and we're losing them, a lot of them, year by year, because of environment, climate change. So go see them while you can.
How many of you in this room were at the Signals tour at the Gardens? Oh, man. So I know specifically MJ, Melanie Jane's in this room, who was 14, I think, when Melanie went there. Melanie, where are you?
We met her, yeah. Hey, MJ.
Oh, there. Hey.
Where are you?
Just take a second.
You're
Right there. Right there.
okay.
In the back.
I got it.
Melanie wants to know,
Met
of all
her at
Rush
the bar.
albums and accompanying tours, what would you consider your magic album and tour? In other words, which album and tour did you have the most fun doing and hold some of your fondest memories?
Well, this might sound like a cop-out, but I think Clockwork Angels and the Clockwork Angels tour was the most fun for me. I'm very proud of that record for a lot of reasons. Mostly because I thought we were cooking on all cylinders. When we wrote that record, and our relationship between Alex, myself, and Neil was really gelling. And I was very proud at the step up that we had accomplished in terms of writing music. And the tour that followed, we were able to bring for the first time a string ensemble with us, which was a kind of a dream come true for me, because I just thought so much of our music suited that. And they were wonderful people. And suddenly our trio went to a big band, of numerous people, and we had stories every day. So thank you for the question. It was a spectacularly fun tour for me, and I wish I could do it all again.
Yeah!
Ask Alex to come and join us.
Alex! Come on out, Alex.
Hey, buddy, we missed you.
I was going to sit on his lap.
That obviously Clockwork, one thing, but for you, what was the most fun tour, the most fun album for you?
To tour?
Yeah, to make it
To
a tour.
record and then tour.
Well, I would agree for all the reasons that you just said, Clockwork Angels, but Moving Pictures was really.
Yeah!
I mean, obviously it's one of our more popular records, but it was so much fun to make that record. Like every day in the studio was so positive. We had such great times when we did the intro for Witch Hunt. It was all down in the driveway of the studio, and we were out there. It was like minus 30 degrees, but we had a couple mics, and we did all this mob chanting and.
Yeah, we were creating a vigilante
If you
soundtrack.
listen really close, I don't know if you can actually hear it, but were you able to listen closely to the things that we were saying? They were just so ridiculous. So anyways, that was fun, and then taking that on the road was really great. And then years later, we featured Moving Pictures on a tour, and it was great to play the whole album.
Yeah, that was a great tour. Yeah.
Ryan Etherington from St. Catharines. Ryan, hello.
Where are you, Ryan?
He's over there. Right back there.
That you there?
Ryan's got a couple of kids, loves that he's able to share Lakeside Park with his kids. Listen, you talk about this, what he asks, you've talked about it in the book, I'm curious for both of you. How did you balance the album and tour cycle with family life?
Oh, that's a can of worms. Well, we didn't very well, but we did almost well enough to survive it, thankfully. But it was very difficult at times, I told the story earlier about Alex and him missing home, and sometimes it drives you to excess. But that's just one side of it. The other side of it is that you have such an obsession with what your work is. You are so enamored with your future. You're so determined to become a better player, a better writer, that you keep leaving home. And the excuse is always this monolithic, untouchable thing called the band. And so you don't always count the cost of what that is doing to your family. So you're leaving, children is one thing, and I have regrets about that, of course. But you're putting a hell of a lot of pressure on your spouse. In my case, Nancy, I left her home. She had her own career aspirations, but I left her to follow her dream at the same time, raise a child. So we were fortunate that we both managed to get past that, and the same thing is true with you, because you've had a really long, happy marriage, and I'm sure there were times where it didn't feel so happy, but that's just comes with the territory. So you have to be attentive, and you have to hear what your partner is saying to you.
Exactly what he just said. In a more humorous way. Hey, listen, it is so important to have the support from your partner, because it's a great demand on them. Right, honey? It's such a demand on the family. I know for me, my wife was everything when I was gone. She was the chauffeur, she was the cook, they looked after the kid, the whole thing. What a job that was. While we were, working hard, ordering room service, driving around in cars and stuff.
Drinking 12 rounds of
Yeah, oh
cognac.
my God. Remember how hard that was?
This is a question from Sylvain. Sylvain from Ottawa. Sylvain? Sylvain?
Hey,
Sylvain has seen the honor and privilege to have seen several Rush shows since '81. You're his idol. You guys are his idol. Inspiration and guide musically, which you now give to your kids as well. Did you ever have a plan B when Neil started to bicycle and then bike between shows? Were you or the crew ever stressed? What if you didn't make a gig? What if something happened? What happens to a Rush gig that night?
fuck yeah, we were stressed. I remember when he was motorcycling through South America, and we were waiting for him to arrive. That was a bit dicey, but he traveled with a security person, and so and he's a pretty responsible dude.
Yeah, and there was no stopping him. He was going to do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah. And so, no, we didn't have a plan B. We just crossed our fingers
Yeah.
and hope he made it. And he pretty much did. So, thank you for the question.
Who's sitting in the gallery section 310, row A, seat 5? Who's sitting in there? 310, row A. All right. Okay, here's how we'll prove it, by the way. What? There should be a plaque up there. What does it say? On the back. Behind you, it's on the back. What does it say? I'll tell you, it says... No, it does not.
We need someone that could read.
It should say some memories last forever. Sonia from Burlington, who's here, donated the Massey Hall Revitalization Project
wow.
by putting that up there.
Thank you.
Sonia, by the way. Sonia stole it? Hey,
Hi, Sonia. Thank you for that.
Sonia, I love this question. What was your and Nancy's wedding first dance song?
Oh, dance? Dance? Well, we walked down the aisle to Eric Satie's Trois Je n'en pas day, but I don't remember what the fuck we danced to. Did we dance? We did dance.
You must have. Nancy, what was your first dance?
Wasn't it Working Man?
All right, next question. Forgive me if I don't pronounce your name correctly. Joe Gaverde? Joe? Hey, Joe. Joe's
Hi,
a
Joe.
big Rush fan, says here, but even more of a Geddy Lee fan. I'm sure he meant nothing by it, Alex.
No offense, dude.
Local boy who did great things, maintained his humility and kindness. Over the years, have you ever met one of your heroes that you were starstruck by?
Oh, yeah. That's happened to me more than once. Where do I begin? When I played with Yes in 2017. We were both huge Yes fans. One night we waited all night to get tickets for their first concert at Maple Leaf Gardens when we were kids. Al and I and my friend Oscar, we camped out all night. And so when I walked into that rehearsal room, I just didn't know what to think. I was that kid again, you know. And there was Rick Wakeman and John Anderson and Steve Howe and Alan White. And so I was nervous, but it was a very unusual environment because, of course, to the point that this young man asked earlier, this was a band that had split into two versions of that band. And so when I walked in the room, they were busy in their own corners, and I felt really like, is my fly open or what the hell? And then Steve Howe came over and he gave me a big hug, and that everything melted away and it normalized it. Yeah. So thank you for the question. That was my little moment. Do you have one of those?
Yeah, I was at a restaurant in 1992. I had a nice dinner and I was just got the check, paid the bill, got up, just leaving, and in walks Geddy Lee. God. Open! What is he doing in this place?
Were you nervous at all playing with Tool?
No. Yes! I'm sorry, playing with Tool? No, you know, we've been friends with them for a long time. I loved them right from the first time I heard them. Adam is a fantastic guitar player, and he grew up on 2112, and that was his first record. So it was kind of a really important engagement that we had. And their music is like ours. Sounds really difficult, but it's super easy. So after rehearsing for 5 or 6 weeks, I got pretty much the song down, and it was great to play with them. A little super loud, and that was really exciting. And to come back the second day and play a little bit better was really a good feeling for the soul.
Excellent.
2112. 2112 was my very first show and tell when I was in grade school, was bringing 2112. And Joanne Trombley, London, Ontario, has been a fan since the 2112 record as well. Joanne, where are you? Say hello. Are you here?
Joanne Trump.
Joanne? Up there. Oh, hi. First rock concert, grade 9, Rush at London Gardens in 77. 23-year-old son, first rock show, grade 9, Rush's R40 tour here in Toronto. What's your favorite bass line? That's from her son Julian, who couldn't make it, her son. What's your favorite bass line?
Baseline of mine or other people? I guess it's non-specific. Mine, okay. Well, I think one of them for certain is the song Marathon, the bass line for me. There's something about the circular motion of that song that helps drive it, but yet locks in with Neil's really insistent backbeat. And so, yeah, I would say that's one of my favorites. Great, thank you.
Next question is from Dan Sluban from Mississauga. Dan, hello? Hey, right up
Dan.
front. Yes,
How are you,
Dan.
man?
Not done yet.
Grade 11. Dan and 3 buddies bust from Sudbury for the moving picture show. First time Toronto show at the Gardens. Album had only been out for a few months. Unforgettable night and trip. Remembers it like yesterday. Changed your life forever. For the better or for the worse? You grew up there, that's it. I love this. Now to have that show that he was at on vinyl is the cherry on top. I think that's a great point. But which one of you came up with the line, "Nobody beats my sausage"?
That's something he would say.
Answer.
Thank you. That's an important question.
It
I
is.
appreciate that.
These are great words to put in a sentence. I love it. Scott Lockheed from Toronto. Scott. Hello, Scott. I'm out there. Hey. All right, Scott's happy birthday, by the way. Scott's celebrating turning 55. I like this. 43 of those years as a Rush fan. That's what 78% of your life you've been a Rush fan. Permanent Ways' first record that he bought at Zow's Records in Scarborough. Oddly enough, the same place that I saw Bob and Doug McKenzie at their record launch for Great White. Through all your years of touring around the globe, what was your favorite venue to play in? What made it special for you? Inversely, what's your least favorite venue to play in?
I'm going to throw that one over to my pals. What's your favorite gig?
Red Rocks, probably. Yeah, it's a beautiful location up in the sort of mountains isn't right, but well, big red rocks, and it's a beautiful facility. The stage goes straight up. There's no pit like a lot of those sort of gigs are. It goes straight up to the first row and up.
Yeah.
So you can engage with that. The first half dozen rows. It's really a lot of fun. It sounds great. It looks beautiful at night.
I would say for me, it's he's right. That's certainly the most spectacular venue, viewing-wise. But I have a special place in my heart for the LA Forum because it sounds great. It was also the last place we played with Neil, so that's of great importance to me. And we revisited it when we did the tribute to Taylor Hawkins, which was a emotional night as well. So that has a very special place in my heart for me. The worst gig. What was the worst? What was the worst gig you ever had?
Jeez, I do remember someplace in Texas. It was in a rodeo kind of venue.
Like Lubbock or something.
Yeah, Lubbock. It was Lubbock. That was Lubbock. Oh my God! It was dirt or whatever horses walk on.
Yeah.
The ground, it was. The roof wasn't just so great.
You're a real cowboy.
Yeah.
That stuff that them horses
They
walk
go
on.
on there, walk on that stuff there, of course.
One of my least favorite was the amphitheater in Chicago.
Ugh.
It was the most reverberant building ever. And the crew used to joke that when they loaded in, they could still hear the last chords from the night before.
Those crew guys, they really knew how to joke.
Right, guys?
Yeah.
Turn his mic on.
Oh.
Thank you for your question.
All right, next question. Gord Martin from Ajax. Gord? Yes! Wait, which one are you? Oh, right there. Hey, Gord. Good question, Gord. Been a diehard Rush fan since 8th grade, grade 8, 1981-82. If you could do it all again, what would you do differently?
Nothing. We had the best gig on earth. I had the best two partners you could ever hope to have.
Yeah.
We grew up in public.
Yeah.
We made some mistakes, sure, but you know, you're gonna do that. So yeah, I wouldn't do anything again differently. But I know you would.
I would join the Beatles.
There's so many ways you could have taken that. No one saw that one coming. David Sharp, Binbrook, Lieutenant by Hamilton. David. Yes, you got it!
Where you at? You're
Best
welcome.
dressed and fashion conscious bass player in the world.
Best dressed? Who's
Yeah,
that? Who's he
well,
talking about?
there's not a question mark, it's a period, so I think it's a statement about you.
Dude, look through my book. Some of the pictures. You'll regret that statement.
This is a baseball question. It's not about Otani, but which Major League Baseball player, alive or dead, would you want to play a game of catch with, and why?
Geez, that's a tough one. Because I've been fortunate and I've been able to play catch with a lot of great players, you know, like Randy Johnson and Bryn Smith and just Dave Steve and
Right on.
Blue Jays. So,
So say
I don't
Mickey
know, I'm gonna
Mantle.
say Otani because, man.
There you go. All right, one more question here. Ivan Perez from Toronto. Where are you, Ivan? Are they waving the phone up there?
Hello.
I'm sure you hear this a lot, but it's never not impactful. You inspired Ivan to play bass.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Which band was your favorite to tour with, whether opening or headlining, and which was the worst?
This will be fun.
Yeah.
This will be a good one.
He looks at Al.
I love to play with Primus. I think
Great episode with you and Les Claypool, by the way, on your new show. Great episode.
Part of the thing with Primus is when they were on tour with us, we all had a job to go out to pawn shops and buy musical instruments that we couldn't play. And then we would have jam sessions after dinner every day, playing an instrument that you didn't know how to play. Somewhere there are recordings of this. We gotta dig them up. Yeah, I got an accordion, I got a flute. They were a lot of fun.
So you both agree Primus is your favorite?
Yeah, I would say so. Most fun.
worst. I mean, it's hard to pick the worst, really, because we're so optimistic and
Yeah.
effervescent.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you really hate it?
Well, I don't think I really hated anyone.
What did you feel like you weren't welcome? I mean, you're shouting at Aerosmith and their weird sound check thing was screwing you guys over, but
Well,
Yeah, but that was, you know, we were green. We were the
Yeah.
opening act. We meant nothing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they were the headliner. They
Yeah.
have every right to fuck around on stage as
Yeah.
long as they wanted to,
Yeah,
even
and
if
piss
we
on
didn't
us.
think it was
Yeah,
justified.
and be jerks.
Uh-huh.
Other than that. But I didn't really hate anybody.
did you ever feel like you were out of place on a tour?
Oh, I know.
Out of place?
When we opened for Sha Na Na.
Sha Na Na.
We did not feel welcome. Because common sense dictates that we should not have felt welcome.
This was on Neil's birthday. We did this gig in 1974. We played open for Sha Na Na at a Sadie Hawkins dance at college. So everybody's dressed up
Like Bowser.
like greasers, you know, and they're bales of hay and all of this stuff. And we started playing. We're in our satin pants and platform shoes. And we started playing, and after the first song, this is what it sounded like. By the third song, it was rumbling, and then we turned up. And then for the rest of the set, it was booing and
We got booed. That was the only time we ever got booed off the stage.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Great question. Thank you for all your questions. Geddy, Lifeson.
I'd like us all to take our pictures together.
Yeah.
So we get house lights on, please. And I'd like you all to make noise and wave your hands. And
Wave your hands in the air.
yes, let's hear you.